My name's Carl Hinder and you're listening to the Salon Health Good to Go podcast, the podcast for salon and spa owners who are looking to grow. The only thing stopping you is you. Episode 41. Think differently. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. This week I want to speak to you about how thinking differently can change your business. It can probably change you as a person, and it might even change your personal life. In fact, I'm pretty sure all three things that I've just mentioned are true in some way. Now, I spent years and years coaching small businesses, and ultimately, it was all about putting procedures and systems in place. And that's not changed, because if you do that, even if you've got a good business right now, if you enhance the systems and procedures, you're going to make, great advancements in your business. There's no doubt about it. So that is fundamental. However, what we see is small business owners not taking action. And so the kind of nature, if you like, of coaching has changed. Certainly feels like in the salon, spa and clinic sector. And it's more to do now with psychology. It's more to do with understanding why people don't apply the things that they're taught, or the things they're coached on, or the things that they read about, you get the idea, or the things that they are listening to on podcasts. So there's no shortage of knowledge anymore, whereas maybe 20 years ago there was a shortage of knowledge among small business owners. Now access available everywhere, whether it's on YouTube or on podcasts, books, anywhere you look, there's plenty of knowledge about how to run your business. So why don't we apply this knowledge? We can get our hands on it. We can find a pathway to success. And I understand it's not all about just having knowledge when you're trying to be successful. And I also know that it's not just about the last couple of years, even though I said the focus, if you like, or the emphasis is on the psychological position. Business owners have always failed. Business owners have always tried to take the shortest path to the greatest success. That's natural. That's kind of a good thing in a way. But sometimes we've got to realize that the path to success is a long one. It's a tough one. And it's one that you need a lot of dedication and commitment. So it doesn't tie up that sometimes we have knowledge, we put in as little effort as we can, and we expect results. Here's a couple of areas that I want you to start thinking differently about. The first one is about investment. So a couple of weeks ago, and if you're a regular listener, you'll know this, I opened my membership group, Massive Not Passive, and we let in new members. Those who objected, the main objectors, were people who said they had no money. They said, Carl, I haven't got the money at the moment. My kind of retort, and I'm trying to be as polite as I can with everyone, is that if you can't afford this small amount of money for a membership to help you grow, you can't afford not to. But can you see the two different ends of the argument there? For them, it's, wow, that is £60, Carl. That's £15 a week that I'm going to really miss if I spend that money with you. You see, I see it the other way around. You spend £15, I'm going to share my expertise. I'm going to share some guidance. I'm going to share some accountability and support and all the things you need in that kind of setting, where £15 doesn't matter. And that's what I mean about thinking differently. We're not talking about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of pounds here. We think that saving £15 is a game changer. Whereas the reality is spending £15, 1-5 by the way, is a game changer. That's what the podcast is about. Where do you sit on this? You can always drop me an email, by the way, at info@salon-help.co.uk if you want to discuss this further, or if you want to challenge me at any time. A different person on the same issue also said, Carl, I can't afford that kind of money at the moment. My response was, haven't we chatted about this before? Wasn't you in this position this time last year? So for a year, you've saved the fee from me. Yeah, you haven't spent any money, you haven't invested with me, and you're still in the same situation where you can't afford it. See, you've got to have some sort of psychological override here, guys. You've got to stop reacting to your gut instinct to be smaller, and protect yourself, like a hedgehog does when it's under attack. Yeah, we all see what's happened to those hedgehogs, don't we? We've seen them on the roads, we see them on the highways. They curl up to protect themselves, and the next minute, they run over. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get run over. I'm just having a bit of fun with you. But of course, you've got to look at why we think of things so negatively. Why aren't we proactive? Why don't we invest in the right things? Why do we think we can save our way to success? We can't. And that negativity carries on throughout other areas as well. So another person, another client, if you like, said to me that their business was struggling. So I said, okay, tell me about it. Why are you struggling? And they told me that staff were leaving, staff had left, and they'd taken some clients with them. They told me that their bills were now much, much higher because of recession and fuel poverty and all of those things. They told me the lockdown, that was a real killer, the pandemic, all the things that came with that. They told me that the high street was also suffering and they were part of the high street. And they told me that even though they were short of staff, there was no chance of getting them. And if there was a chance of getting them, they'd have to wait until next year. Behind all of these things, there's some absolute truth, isn't it? You know, when staff leave you, it can damage your sales. We know that bills are higher. We know that the lockdown was a problem. We know that the high streets in the UK are not thriving and they haven't for many, many years, and so on. There's no denying that there's an element of truth in the background to this. My retort is this. That is also true for every other salon, spa, clinic, barbershop, whatever it is, particularly in the UK, but it'll be the same in the USA and across the world. You've got the situation where people identify these things as problems. However, we have thriving salons. We have people opening up new right now. We have people expanding. We have quite a lot of people expanding, in fact. There's a lot of opportunity. Now, how can they do it? What is it about them that's different to you? They've got the same circumstances as you. In fact, in many, many cases, they're going to be in the same area, the same town, maybe even in the same street as you, but they are finding ways of going forward. What's the difference? What's the difference between you and them? And it's only one thing. It's how they see the world. It's how they deal with those issues. They just come from a positive point of view and you come from a negative point of view. I know that sounds harsh and I don't want to be negative with you, but unless you can get a self-realization, how can you move? How can you change? So start with assessing yourself. So here's some areas that I want you to look at. First of all, you're a negative person if these things are happening, and you've got to break away from this. So first of all, if you keep talking about things that are out of your control, so let's say the pandemic, or let's say lockdown, pretty much the same thing, I guess. What about you can't get staff, or you can't sell retail, your staff won't listen to you, or there's a flood, or the weather's bad, or it's gone quiet, or the high street is closing down, etc. You see, you keep talking about things that are out of your control. The immediate bounce back is, why don't we talk about the thing, it could be singular by the way, the singular thing that you are in control of. Why don't we look at that? And they aren't singular, by the way. For every negative, you can find a positive thing that you are in control of. So your sales might be down, but you are in control of your retail. You know, your recruitment might be down, but you are in control of your productivity. You are in control of your pricing structures. You are in control of your marketing. You see, if you focused on them instead of the things that you haven't got control of, you would have started to make the switch. The same goes with when you start talking about the things you haven't got. Like, I haven't got staff. You see, that's a negative. Why don't we talk about what you have got? I've got a great salon. The staff I have got are a great team. I've got a great reputation. You see, we've got things to build on instead of things to focus on that we haven't got. You've got to be grateful, guys. That's why this works in your personal life as well. You've got to be grateful. You've got to appreciate what you have as much as understand that you do need other things. But don't dwell on what you haven't got. And thirdly, the negative person. Identify this, guys. You're always talking about the past. I always remember how good it was before the pandemic. I remember when staff used to do things as we told them. I remember when Amazon didn't sell products. You see, we keep focusing on the past. It's a blame game. You're blaming everyone. You blame things that are out of your control. You blame things you haven't got, and you blame things in your past. So instead of thinking about the past, why don't we look at what's happening right now? I don't know about your high street, I don't know about your area, but there will be things happening right now which are positive. We could look at, are you using technology? You know, we've got technology now which salons and businesses never ever had. Social media is such a mega positive for a business. Websites, have you got it? Yeah, that's what's happening right now. We haven't got to talk about the past. We've got to look at what's now, what's available to us now and is present, and what have we got control of? We've got control of all of those things. Now, you may have heard those things said before in different ways. They're not my original way of thinking about it, but that's what it boils down to. Every time I work with someone, we either find they have 1, 2, or 3 of the negatives, and hopefully we get them to 3 of the positives. It's just a change of direction. It's just a change of mindset, if you like. Let's say you want to lose weight and there's no real, scientific reason why you can't. What do? You say, I want to lose weight, but I can't, right? I couldn't do it in the past. See, we refer to the past. And you can't do it because you haven't got a cycle, you see? Now I'm blaming something from the present and I haven't got something. Or you look at other things and you say, I don't have time, so I can't lose weight. Or maybe you blame something else. Maybe you blame your partner for overfeeding you or whatever it is. If you believe those things, you will succeed in not losing weight. You will be right. That is a fact. If you think you can't lose weight, you will not lose weight. If you think you can't get staff, you will not get staff. If you think you can't retail, you will not retail anyway, guys. You're getting the idea. So I want you to think about this podcast and say, I can identify lots of these things that Carl's talking about in myself. Now I got to find a way of just looking at them differently. It hasn't changed that your high street is a total mess. That doesn't change. But what is it that has changed? What is good about your area? What's good about your business, your existing clients, the skills you have, the staff you do have, the opportunities, the local, support in colleges and whatever it is. Find the good things. Think about things differently and you're 100% going to improve your chances. And if I was guiding you, you're 100% going to be a lot more successful. And that's all for this week. Thank you for listening to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast. Please take a look in the show notes for some useful links and let other salon and spa owners know that I'm here every Sunday at 4 p.m. trying to help them grow. Take care, guys. I'll see you on the next episode.